But you say, in giving a lesson to Londoners recently, in a Wired magazine article, you say Silicon Valley cultural meme is believe in risk-taking, reward failure, and help entrepreneurs to create the future. I mean, is that revolutionary? I mean, is that what is it about embracing failure that's different? I mean, people say certain culture have a fear of failure. Did you have fear of failure? You're half Lebanese.
So I definitely had fear of failure.
Do you? I mean, did you have?
No,
you don't look like one.
I didn't. You got to remember that I was one of the few people in the UK who came over from school to go to university out here. So it was already like, get me out of tradition.
Right.
I think, going back to the London thing, I think that if you live with the belief that that a mistake is really not a mistake in a negative way, but it is an opportunity to learn a new lesson, then a society or a culture, whether it's the Valley or anywhere else, or London, that is built on, that has enough people who believe that, is one that can espouse what I said, which is don't judge failure, respect it, respect the person who makes an attempt. And it's very, very hard. I mean, if you go back to Europe, and I think the UK is leagues ahead of some of its European brethren in this way. But if you go back to Europe, having spent time in the Valley, it's not clear that like failure is like an amazing thing.
I mean, is it celebrated? I mean,
is
it overrated that people say they're celebrating failure in the Valley and everybody loves to fail? I mean, I think that's bull.
It's a little bit bull, but it's not in the following way, which is that in practice, you do see people who are respected for what they've achieved in a particular role, who ended up perhaps not getting the acquisition they wanted, or the company ran out of money, or whatever it is, then subsequently getting picked up and being respected for the lessons they learn. And I think that really does happen here. It's not so much that people like have conferences to celebrate failures.
But the best lessons are the lessons of, I mean, you will remember failure much more than you remember anything else. I mean,
well,
do people learn only through failure?
Well, it's the old adage that I haven't had an overnight success after 6 years of trying. And that is, I think, the journey for many people. And I also think it's very dangerous, and this is happening a lot in the Valley. It's happening everywhere, where because of media attention and the focality that you get from that, what's happening is that very rare and unusual businesses that scale very quickly from something very simple are getting a lot of attention. And what that's doing is it's steering a lot of the focus away from what entrepreneurship is most of the time, which is relentlessness, perseverance, a belief.
Revolutionary?
Perhaps,
is it? I mean, do you see yourself as a revolutionary? I mean, are you? You look like Che Guevara a little bit.
Thank you. I'll make a T-shirt later.
Yes.
I think.
I mean, everything.
Here's
what
I'll say. Here's what I'll say.
Rejecting status quo.
Here's what I'll say, and I think you might resonate with this, because I do think, whether you believe it or not, I do think that your political disillusionment with the Middle East and your belief in the opportunity you had in front of you caused you to create Aramex as much as your desire to be a successful businessman.
Yes, because you're rejecting stereotypes. Right. You're rejecting that this is not doable, and then you go out and do it, actually.
Exactly.
That's what you do.
Exactly. In my case, I would say that Jawbone, I think we were revolutionary in the sense that we went against the grain for years and years and years. We rewrote the rules of an industry in sort of wearable headsets and that sort of thing. We took that into other product lines. And I think in the field of consumer products, I think we've been disruptive as almost any company out there. With respect to me, is interesting because my upbringing has now caused me to split my time and spend more time on my new company, which has a much more of a classic revolutionary spirit.
But you feel it more now because you are a mature man. There is no sense of innocence in you. Now you are sinister. You are going out and saying, I am disrupting the way people do opinion.
It's not on the script. Pretty sure.
I told you we're going to have a revolutionary talk, so you didn't believe me.
Linda. Yeah, I think that you gain more self-awareness as you get older. You realize that the types of conversations that you gravitate towards, the things that you get interested in, not that you're expected to be interested in, but that you actually are interested in, have a more political bent, have a more cultural evolutionary bent.
Right.
I think that's what happened to me, and I think that that made it very hard for me to spend all of my time on Jawbone. Yeah.
You're more purposeful about the concept of disruption than you were when you were a younger man.